Oh my god, I forgot this was recording the whole time.
Is it actually?
Yes.
Oh, I had no
Yeah.
idea.
Well, because we pick up gems,
do
especially
it.
some of that IG gold.
Oh, I got it all.
Yeah, baby. This is a coming home story
Yeah, I think so.
in a weird way, because your journey here was started off with a big bang, super excited. I was really pumped up about you being on the team. I never
Right.
call it my team. Being on the team, and then you got derailed
Yep.
big time during
Yeah.
COVID, and probably nobody really knows, and share it with a lot of people, where you and I even like booked just one-on-one over the phone calls during COVID,
Yeah.
because I felt like you were slipping away from me.
Mm-hmm.
We were breaking up.
Yeah, I remember that. And it was crazy because I couldn't really speak about it. There was a lot of personal things going on, a lot of family things going on. And I really just couldn't do anything. I was stuck, but I had to make, I guess, a huge decision in my life. Either I take care of my family in a time where they really, really need it, or do I kind of just bail on them and just do everything on my own? And I'm glad I made that decision. The only thing that sucked about it was I couldn't keep anybody in the loop. My girlfriend had no idea, calling me every single day. Everybody contacted me like, "Where are you?" And I'm like, I just got to be here for now. So I think that was the toughest part. Trying to explain 2 years later, this is why. And I'm appreciative that you even gave me that chance. And if you remember, I just wanted to just let you know. I was not asking for an opportunity. I just wanted to let you know out of the respect. So I just wanted to say, hey, like, this is why I'm not looking for an opportunity. If there is, cool. But if not, I just, out of the respect of how we even began our relationship, this is what happened. Do whatever you want. I just want to give you some peace of mind, because I know we had a great relationship and it was something that bothered me. And if you remember, I started a LinkedIn just to find you because I didn't have nobody's number. So
No, I didn't know that, right? And today on the podcast is our returning son, Danny, who, as you mentioned at the top of that, during COVID, we lost you, and I remember people giving me feedback, being like, some angry, not gonna lie, like, Danny just bailed. What happened to Danny? Danny didn't even say goodbye.
I had a lot of emotions that maybe I shouldn't say on the podcast, but I'm happy to see you back.
no,
now.
it's fine. Like, when you don't know the full story,
Yeah.
you kind of just treat everybody as they're just a regular person, came in, thought they were, part of the team, and then just left.
Yeah.
So I completely get it. When you don't know, you just don't know. You have to assume that they came and left. You invest all this time, all this help, and she helped me a lot, even now. And then to just walk away, no explanation. It's like, well, I hate that guy. So I completely get it. I would feel the same way.
I get this phone call. Your number hadn't changed, so it still came up. It was you. I was like, no way. This guy's alive.
Yeah.
It happened. So I pick up the phone and talk to you, and I love that you had respect, or you wanted to at least let me know, hey, man, I know I left. I know I didn't leave in the best terms. I'll share with you why if you want to hear it. If you don't, I respect that too. I'm not calling to get my job back. I'm not calling for a spot back on the team. You believe a lot in making things right, which is why I think you do well on this team, because that's what we do for clients. And when someone reaches out to me like that, man, I'm a guy, I'm a dude, I'm regular, just like I want to hear, sure. And I believe I'm like the poster child for second chances. I've made mistakes. I've rebuilt my life.
She's laughing.
Right, yeah, she's laughing. That hurts
It's
me.
under my breath.
You are a mistake. So when you called me, I was like, yeah, man, I want to hear you out. What do you have to say? I was curious.
Yeah.
And I remember I was not all like, yeah, let's bring him back. Some people are like, "Are you all right?"
Yeah.
Well, my first impression was, do you even really know this guy? Like, he's worked here for 2 months and you're so committed.
Yeah.
I love this guy. That's
And then he's like, no,
He's
you
my
don't
guy.
get it. And I'm like, well, I think I do, but I'll trust your gut for this time. But I mean, everyone was skeptical. I mean, you've changed that narrative now that you're back, which is nice to see. And I can say good job, Adam.
Appreciate
But
that.
at first it was a little tough because when people leave, it's hard to bring them back, especially when you don't know why they've left.
Yeah.
And from being here for so long, I know some people leave and don't have the best intentions.
Right.
And you keep this family close, so you don't let a lot of people walk into your family.
I completely agree.
So history on past job experiences and things you draw from that life to make this life work.
Mm-hmm.
I know you, so I know there's a lot. But
Yeah.
if there's so many interesting things. So if I think back to the first time we interviewed you, or I interviewed you,
Yeah.
and you were in the studio business, and you were telling me your story about losing something that we can take for granted, and how that changed your perspective on life. And
Yeah.
I'd love for you to share that without me saying it, comes right, like that was a pivotal point in your life too.
Yeah, I agree. So, started off like every other child, I guess, teenager, just getting any job, just trying to get some money, save it, do whatever you're trying to do, really, right? But I always had a passion for music, whether it was recording, mixing, mastering. I just wanted to be part of the process and just try to network with people. So I've always had studio since a little kid. When I mean little, I mean like grade 9, which I think is a baby. So as I was doing that, I was also managing a lot of retail positions, whether it was Apple, Kudo, or whatever it was. And in that time, I did LASIK. And I did that because I was very, very heavy with soccer, trained with Canada, played with Ontario. So I couldn't see at night. Like I really could not see, to the point where the coaches would be like, great game. And I really have no idea what's going on. There's times where I'd score and I really had no idea. Like as soon as I would get it, I had 2 options: give it to the same jersey or just kick it. So there's times where I'd score, I have no idea. So this was around probably when I was like 17, 18. And when I walked in, they told me that as men, the eyes develop a lot. They take time to develop, whereas women can develop pretty quickly. So I waited till I was about 21, 22, and finally said, you're a great candidate. So I walked in, did the whole LASIK eye surgery. Everything was perfect. 20/20, could see. The irony was I don't play soccer anymore, but I just kept breaking my glasses everywhere I went. Leave them in Wasaga, everywhere. It's just gone. And my dad's like, you know what? Pay for it, like get it over with. So I paid the $5,000 and did it. But a year and a half later, I started complaining. And I'm like, look, I really can't see. Dad's like, how is that possible? Spent all this money, not possible. So I said, I have a guy for my benefits. Do the eye exam, take it serious, and he'll just give you any type of glasses. Benefits. Okay. You don't need eyeglasses. So I said, you know what? Let me take this exam like very seriously. I paid $5,000. Let me like see where my eyes are. Optometrist, that's the eye doctor, I think, goes, you need glasses. So I'm like, it's okay. She doesn't really understand. The next day, I remember very vividly, I'm around Allen and Shepherd by the Downsview station at the time. And I look up and I'm like, Len Road. What the hell is a Len Road? I'm like, I know where I am. I look up and it says Len Road. I look left, and as I look left, my right side captures everything. And it says Allen. So I'm like, Allen. When I look again, it says Len Road. Well, my left side went completely black, but that was the first time. This was the next day after the exam. So I'm lost.
Wow.
So I'm at the light, and I'm in a rental. It's not even my car, and this is where it gets interesting. I see the gas station, so I pull up into the gas station, hit the fire hydrant, but I'm going like 15, 20. Whole Range Rover bumper cracks. I don't care. I can't see. So I lay down for maybe, 3 hours. Finally get up, go back to Enterprise, drop the car off, and just walk away. I'm like, I can't deal with this. They billed me. It is what it is. When I went into LASIK the next day, they did a lot of tests and they said, look, you have a mandatory surgery and you'll be out between 1 and 10 years. So I started laughing. Like 1 in 10 years? We watch basketball. We know when someone gets injured, 1 to 3, 2 to 3 weeks. It's like a realistic approach. 1 to 10 years? So I started laughing. And she goes, look, you could be blind. So went downtown right away. Told me I had to drop everything. I developed a rare disease. And I had a 10% chance of success. 90% chance of being blind. Everybody's mad. Obviously, I was mad for a little bit. Did the surgery, and I'm a type of guy where I don't take medication. You see the things on infomercials. If you hurt your back, take all of these things. But if you take all those things, 30 things might happen to you. So I'm like, I'm not taking medication. And they gave me about 40 different eye drops. So I said, I'm not taking it. The thing is, when they did the eye surgery to correct my corneas, because my corneas had essentially evaporated. When they do the eye exam and they take a picture, it's usually like an oval shape. That's what your cornea usually looks like. But mine looked like a bar graph. And they said, like, your eye has detached, your retina has detached, and that's why you're getting the blackness. But thing is, I got it the day before. So it was just interesting how it happened. And when they did the surgery, they were already numbing my eyes to prepare me for the laser. So I'm like, pain's not bad. Went home from downtown. I was fine. Then the medication wore off. And the amount of holes in my room, in my house, is crazy. But it got to the point where I just couldn't get mad anymore. I tried. I forced myself to get mad because now I can't see. And it's weird, like, because I couldn't see for 2 years. And when I look back even now and I think about it, I really couldn't see for 2 years. And when people ask me, like, what do you mean? Close your eyes, and that was me for 2 years. And that was it. So what did I do? Just listen to, like, Dave Chappelle. Try to listen to sports. Really boring.
Such a unique perspective because you had sight, lost sight.
Instantly.
I interview you. You had sight had returned.
Yeah.
I remember Becca was doing the interviews and I said, you have to meet this guy. This guy was like, had LASIK. It got screwed up. He was temporarily blind. His sight is back. His perspective on life is so unique because he had something that we take for granted taken away from him.
But here's the thing. The interesting is how I got it back. So when I did that surgery, they said from the year of the surgery, you have to meet a certain benchmark. If you do not reach this, we have to do a cornea transplant. That was within the year. After about a year, they're like, well, you're very close. We don't want to risk it with the transplant because that one is like, you're going to be blind. Let's just wait. You're very close. All right, no problem. How I got it back, standing by it, I'm 100% sure this is what it was. I truly believe God took away my eyes. I really believe he took it away.
Okay.
And the reason why I say that was he works in mysterious ways is what everybody claims. I personally think he took it away because I wasn't looking at things right. Maybe not the way that he wanted me or she wanted me to look at it. So he took it away. And I promise you, the week I realized it, that and jumped in, I promise you I got it back.
Wow.
Might not sound true. Might not be believable. I'm telling you. And since then, everything has been different. So I look at things different.
You do, man. That's one thing I love talking to you because your perspective is vastly different than most people because of that experience.
Yeah.
You interviewed with us. I liked you. Get past COVID. You make the phone call. You come back. Mm-hmm. And now you're here for like part 2 of your Nuborrow career because it kind of got ripped away from you during COVID as well.
Right.
What is it about here that you wanted to come back?
To be perfectly honest and to be perfectly short and sweet is you. I've never been part of an organization where the president is here, and I'm pretty sure Ali can attest to that. Have you been anywhere where the president is here 24 hours?
No.
It's impossible.
Just with Vito.
Yeah, I was going to say, my dad's kind of like that.
Your dad works like that. Come on.
It felt like home to me. So, I mean, I could say yeah, but it's rare.
it's
Absolutely.
really rare. So like maybe she's the only one who's had somebody, but in any other position I've been, it's impossible. And if that person of management or president has been there, it usually gives off a different type of energy. Like, oh, the boss is here, relax, like do something. Like everybody's on their toes, but with you it's different. So I've been offered other places, even brokerage, and I even mentioned it to you.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
and so offered me, but I would not take it, even if they gave me 100% of everything. Leadership, people are difficult to find. So it's literally you. That's
Appreciate
honestly the true answer. It's literally you, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people could say the same thing. It's literally you.
I do agree that I understand the importance of me being here. So, my home life is very busy. Will have my wife say to me, "Hey, you can miss today," and I'm usually like, we have that back and forth with like, A, I don't want to, and B, I can't
Right.
because I feel I gotta be here. I changed from got to I want to. I want to be here because I want to lead. I want to have the jokes.
Yeah.
I enjoy my day that much. And for me, I wouldn't run it a different way. I love I love what we do. I love that we solve problems, and that's my main focus. But I love you.
Yeah.
I love you. I love the people. We're so selective when we build the team. Like just even off the top saying like how some people are like, no, Danny got left. Danny not coming back.
I agree.
I'm like, but I want Danny back.
I agree.
I want him back. So I do get that, and I do appreciate that I don't want all these podcasts to be it's about me. It's because we'll focus on you guys. But I know that those relationships that we have are what keep everything going, because this is a stressful environment. No lies.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Saving people's houses, solving problems is stressful.
It is. Yeah.
You haven't been back for a very long time.
No.
Right?
No.
So it's, but you did some deals or a deal or two the first time
Yeah.
in a much different system, because we've changed it a lot now.
Much different system.
Right? And now you're in this system and you've done some deals, and there's got to be that. I know this is easy for you because we left out, you worked at one of those very popular high interest loan places, get it really easily.
Yeah,
and now you're
easy.
doing this.
Yeah.
And you said some things to me about that industry, why you didn't want anything to do with loans, right?
Exactly. So one of the reasons why I wanted to get in this industry was my dad doesn't really speak great English, immigrant to Canada, and I forget who he was signing with, but it was a bank, and he doesn't understand the terms. Like the terminology they use are very, very difficult and complex, especially when the legals come into play. I don't know about you, but I don't really understand. Party involved with this is very difficult. So when we actually looked it over, basically getting swindled in a way. Random charges they didn't agree to, but he's signing to them, but he doesn't know. So I said, I need to join an industry where I can help people like this and treat them like my father or my mother. Make sure that, a lot of people in this country that I see, most of their finances are in their home, if not all of it. So to make a decision, whether it's 10,000, 50,000, 100,000,
Yeah.
this could shape the rest of their life as well as their children's.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to join this industry. Like you said, I did join another company before this, but I guess they weren't operating it the right way, really taking advantage of people's vulnerability. But the quickness of how they can facilitate those loans is unmatched.
Yeah.
Application comes in, all I need is your license. I promise you I can get you 10,000 e-transferred in an hour. Easy. Super easy. Take that as you wish. So
yeah, but it was that you shared with me where you had that environment, you took that paperwork and gave it to your brother, right? Because your brother's big math guy.
He has his master's in math.
And he broke it down for you and showed you like how it really works.
Yeah. And regardless of the loan amount, regardless of the protection plans or anything you choose, every single loan, and I mean every, came in at 59.7% interest. And that criminal code is 60. So to plan that out with a formula that every single deal, regardless if you take extra, like their protection plans or anything, everything came just under. That's got to be planned. It doesn't make sense. So I immediately I couldn't sleep, honestly, because I really wanted to help people. I thought I was, but I wasn't. So found you, and the rest is history.
I remember that in that interview where I said, "Oh, hey, you worked here."
Yeah.
Like, what was that like? What do you think the skill transfer would be? And you laid that on me and were like, "Hey, man, I don't want to be doing that. If that's what we do here, I don't want to work here." Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, "No, we don't do that. It's a lot different. Our process is different." But you had, and in training, you were so valuable, because when we train, group train, and we talk about, here's some options that people have and why they go here, because less questions to ask, super easy on a website, slide a ball over and all of a sudden it's deposited into your account. And you were able to be like, yeah, that does happen.
Yes.
But I used to work there and I can tell you how it works and the math behind it and how, like, we see it every day. We go pay those loans out and the client's like, what do you mean? I borrowed 30 grand 3 years ago. It's impossible. I still owe that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you saw behind the curtain, so to speak, and knew you didn't want to be associated with it.
Yeah, absolutely not. That exact example is the reason why I looked elsewhere. I'll tell you a funny story. So a client called in from another branch, from the Brampton location, and said, look, signed up with Brampton. I just want to know how much is left on my loan. It's 3 or 4 years, paying $600 a month for 10K, $600 a month. It's been a year. He goes, I know I paid about like $7,000, but I know it's interest. I'm not expecting all of it to be principal, but I'm just curious, how much is left? So I'm like, all right, got his name. His name's Adam Ross. No problem. It's not actually, but it's for the example. And I looked, and I remember he took 10,000, and the balance was still 10,000. So me not knowing, I had no idea. I'm like, look, it's definitely a glitch in the system. You got it from Brampton, and it's not going to show our side. It's not going to show on our system. You got to call them. The whole time I'm talking to the client on the phone, the manager's laughing. I'm thinking she's on her phone because we're pretty far. Get off the phone, and I'm like, why are you laughing? And she goes, no, that is the balance. I just searched it while you're speaking. I'm like, but how? It's paying $600 a month. It took 10,000. Year later, owes 10,000. She goes, yeah, it's interest up front. I'm like, so how much is this going to cost? She goes, this 10,000 at the end of the 4 years. If he makes that 600 payment only, and it's open, but payment is so high, you can't make open payments.
Right.
It's going to cost like 39,000. I was like, are you serious? She goes, yeah. I'm like, okay, look, you guys said you're going to pay for my mortgage license. I want to do the test today. She said, but you're not ready. You need 3 weeks. I said, just pay for it now. She paid for it. This was at around 10 a.m. I didn't read the single page of the book. I just did the practice exams, failed them all with like 30%. I'm like, I guess I'm ready. Went directly to Scarborough, passed easily because it was pretty easy. And I'm like, look, I searched reviews on this company and it was terrible. I'm talking like 1.2 stars. I'm like, the next place I go to has to be like 4.6. Like, it's got to be perfect. Like, I need to know. And it can't be perfect where they incentivize you to write reviews, because there are companies that do that. So I found yours on Indeed. And I'm like, you know what? This is it. I've got my mortgage license. It's a brokerage in Vaughan. It's 10 minutes. This is perfect. But I didn't think I was going to get it. And the reason was I sent the application in, and about 5 minutes later, they're like, take this 40-minute personality test. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing it. Like, I don't want to do it. But then you called me, and I remember that interview. You said, you know, we're just gonna talk about 15 minutes, and this whole place is different. We had like separate rooms.
Yeah.
Before the renovations happened, I told my girlfriend too. I'm like, we'll go get sushi after. It's 20 minutes. Give it half an hour. 3 hours later, we're still talking.
Yeah, man.
A 3-hour interview.
My interview was 3 minutes, for the record.
Oh, we'll do your podcast about your interview. Trust me.
It'll only be 3 minutes.
Mine was 3 hours, and at the end, he pulled my resume, and he's like, what do you do again?
It's because you have a big mouth, Danny.
No, I don't.
You can talk.
Oh.
But then
It's because of him.
back then if I liked you, then I went and got someone else. So then you had to do another interview.
Right.
Yeah. Sometimes I kept people here.
Tiana's was fairly long too, though.
Yeah.
About an hour and 15.
You and I did that one together, right? I did
Yeah.
you did Becca. I don't know if you did
I didn't meet
anyone else.
anybody else. I met Becca for maybe like 4 minutes.
Yeah. She said no. I remember that because I don't know if she said no, but she was like, I don't know. And I was like, I just spent like I'm busy and I just spent a big part of my day.
Yeah.
And the answer is yes.
We barely spoke, me and Becca. I think
like
it was
this
like
guy.
a minute and a half. Like it was quick. It was like, how'd you like it? Everything was good. You need anything? No? Okay, well, we'll be in touch. It was like super quick.
And I really think that besides I was inspired by you, and you shared pretty much the story you just shared with me about the eyesight and how you felt about it. That's exactly what you said in the interview.
Yeah.
And then I thought, wow, this is such a great person for what we do, because you understand the mindset of the client that would go to those other places that you worked at
Right.
that would take that money.
Yeah.
And oh man, I'm not the president. I'm a member. Like I use the system we use to repair my credit,
Right.
to leverage equity in my home to make my cash flow better and for my family. So I get why you do the things, or you've had these choices or these tough decisions to make. And those companies that are out there that provide that, it's so easy to get into that loop and that we're not talking about payday loans. That's a whole other category.
That's a whole different world.
We're talking about that category that seems less expensive than payday.
Yeah.
It's very difficult to get out of those.
Yeah.
Right? Because again, what's our number one advantage over everything else? Because everyone has products, everyone has mortgages, everyone has money. Ours is plans.
Yeah.
And in all of those different scenarios, you're forced with a decision to make really quick. You pick the easy one, low barrier to entry, and then next thing you know, you can't get out.
You can't get out. Yeah. Yeah.
So since you've been here, which has been a short time, is there a client of yours or a situation you've solved recently that really stands out as to underlines what it is we do or why you chose to do what you do?
Yeah, actually, about 2 weeks ago, called a client that said he signed. I think it was a Thursday. He said he signed with another brokerage on that Monday, and I said, okay, like, did they not facilitate your needs? Like, what could I do for you? He's like, well, I just want an extra maybe 15, 20,000 because they couldn't completely help me. I said, okay, well, how far are you in this process? That you need extra? Like, did you sign with them? Like, what's going on? He's like, no, I want to. He's like, but like, I can't get the help. So I asked him if he did the appraisal, what the value is, just to kind of get more information and see what we can do. Maybe that was all they can do. Found out they didn't even do an appraisal. Found out all they did was take the value of the home, subtract about 200,000, and just to make it easier, because he really needed help. Behind on his TD mortgage, like 3 months. The interest has racked up. The lawyer fees are extremely high now. He also had that company that we spoke with about, owed them about 100,000 extra.
Wow.
So I said, look, I think I can help you based off our estimates. I think we can do everything for you. Gave him the worst kind of scenario, lowered the value of his home and said, look, even if it comes in 150,000 cheaper, even if the estimates on the fees are, say, 20,000, let's put 30. Let's just make it completely worst case. And I'm like, I can help you, but you have to be able to spend that $600 or whatever it was for the appraisal. And he's like, I'll do it. I said, it's not guaranteed though, but this is your shot. Did it, helped him, got everything he needed. And literally his wife called me crying. They're young, maybe in their 25s. He said, like, why didn't they help me? I'm like, well, they didn't care. And I told them, even when we looked over the paperwork, difference is, and like you said it earlier, everybody has products. But the difference is we have plans in place. It's the reason why we have 1,000 5-star reviews. There's a reason.
Yeah.
So those plans in place, we will hold you to it. I said, the only thing you have to do is you got to execute that plan. I can't do it for you, but I'm going to show you everything. And they were extremely happy, saved their home. But even just a quick side note, they borrowed 100,000 from that company. It was a 10-year secured, brought it down to about 72. And because we're paying them off, that 72 went back to 100. because they're breaking a 6-year
Man,
term.
man, right? That happens so often with those other companies that our clients get into, and I've seen the contracts.
Yeah.
The unique thing about that is with us, okay, when you do a mortgage anywhere, you need a lawyer to represent you to give you independent legal advice.
Right.
It adds to the overall cost of borrowing, upsets clients, but that's your chance as a client to make sure if you didn't get a thorough explanation. Our signings sometimes are an hour, right? Our meetings to go over the documents. But if you didn't get that and you got, which is common these days, DocuSign sent you and told to sign it,
Right.
the explanations, you do it because you need to give the mortgage. You got a lawyer on the other end that's representing you that should say, hey, this is what happens. These are the things where we only deal with reputable lawyers that will explain it properly, which is overkill sometimes for our clients because we already did it. But that's those niche companies. They don't necessarily register a mortgage. They just register that
Charge.
and I know how they do it, right? And they register the charge and nothing is clearly, like if you think back to when you worked in that industry, what explanation did you really have to give? I remember you telling me you went into detail and you got told, hey, don't do that.
Stop. What are you doing?
It's crazy to me.
Relax.
It's so irresponsible.
I was actually told not to circle the full payment with the interest. Because if they're borrowing 10,000, I want them to know you're going to pay 40 back. I want you to know. I don't want anything hidden. I don't want you to call back in 20 minutes, 2 days, 2 months, say, Danny, I'm highlighting it. I even added extra initials and I was pulled to the side and said, if I do that again, you will get fired. So I'm like, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? So, but believe it or not, I'd get bank clients all the time because of how quick it was.
Yeah.
They were willing to take that 50% because I can get them that money in an hour every time. Nobody had a problem.
And I understand that because sometimes that's what you need. You need it quickly. You have to solve. We see it a lot of times with judgments.
Yeah.
You know, you get a letter, you come home from working all day, playing with your kids, you're doing bedtime, whatever. You open up the mail and all of a sudden you have a letter saying, hey, by the way, we need this in 15 days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where are you going to get it? Right? So I get it. I know why it's there. It's just there are other ways. And Manisha said this in her podcast weeks ago, where if you come to us first, you wouldn't have had to do that.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that sometimes breaks my heart, that we could have stopped it. We could have helped, showed you another path, right?
Yeah.
Definitely.
But that's the industry, and that's why we do the things and we stick to it. We don't break the process. If it doesn't work for you, I'm totally okay with that.
Yeah, I tell them all the time, there's no pressure. If it doesn't work, I will not tell you to do it. If it doesn't work, if it doesn't make sense. And I think that's why we're rated so well, right? We give them the opportunity to make that decision. We're just going to inform you and tell you the full scope of it. And if it makes sense, great. If it doesn't, it's just not the right time.
100%.
So it's okay.
Well, I've really appreciated the time you put on the show. I don't share that all the time, but I was excited when you wanted to come back.
Appreciate that.
I was happy that things happen for a reason, and it was the perfect timing where someone was exiting and you were able to move right, because we don't always have spots, and you were able to come in right away and get to work. We were lucky enough to get your license reinstated because it happened during COVID without having to go through the whole exam again. There's just a lot of things that fell into place, which tells me you were meant to be here.
I appreciate that.
I look like, at least now you know that MJ is the real GOAT and not LeBron. It took a while to convert you.
We'll see.
Right? I got it on video.
I know, but I still got some
saved that
doubts.
video just so we know.
Yeah.
All right? But I appreciate you, man. And I'm so happy to have you a part of this team.
I love you, man. I really do.
Love you, bro.
You know me.
Okay?
Thanks
Yes,
for
sir.
joining us.
Thank you. Thank you.